Hey, what's up? Welcome. You're listening to TC the G Radio, Season 4, Episode 6. I am TC the G, broadcasting directly from Tijuana, Baja California. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to have a great time. The title of today's episode: Get Your Hoe On. Okay, so I decided to speak on this topic because last time I went to a show, I was hanging out, with the clica, I was hanging out with the homies, other fellow music artists, and we were hanging out, okay, whatever. And then there was like, there's always some girls around that, the playmates, right? So there was a girl, right? And we were hanging out the whole day. We went to a show. We were hanging out. We came back to my house. I have a roommate. The roommate lives upstairs. So we came back to the house and they went upstairs with the roommate and I was there as well. So we were all hanging out. We were chilling. We were having fun or whatever. To what I thought, right? We were just hanging out and we were listening to music. But the vibe was different. Like the vibe, I can tell the vibe was different. Like me being there, it was like the girl, the playmate, like she really couldn't like be herself. Like she was estaba como like being like not talkative, and I know she was not being talkative because I know her like outside, from previous days. I already knew her. So I know she's like outgoing, she talks, she likes to do coke and like all this stuff, right? Okay. So we were hanging out upstairs, and when I noticed that they were being kind of like strange, like kind of like dry, like, and I figured it out. It was because I was there, and I was making things too serious for them. Because obviously they were in a party mode, right, with her, like they were gonna party in a party with her, right? You know what that is, you know what that means, hook up, touchy feely, like all that stuff, mind you, at the beginning I just thought it was just gonna be like hanging out, but when we first got upstairs I thought it was just gonna be just us hanging out and just drinking whatever, listening to our jams. But when things started getting serious, or like when I saw that she wasn't being herself, as outgoing as she usually is, I started having that feeling like, oh, okay, like, oh, okay, entonces like they don't really want me here because they were like extra quiet, like not, you know what I mean, like they were not being themselves, like I was holding them back from really doing what they wanted to do, which was get their hoe on. You know what I mean? That's pretty much what it was. That's really much what it came down to. Um, and I know it was the hoe on it was them getting, or she getting her hoe on, because I went downstairs to get another drink, and then when I came up, ya estaba el otro homeboy, the other artist, like already touching her. Like when I came up, like back upstairs, like ya estaba como agarrándole like the leg, and like like touchy, metiéndole mano ya. So I from there I understood. Oh, okay. So that's the vibe. That's the vibe for today, or uh for this situation, or at this time. So I excused myself. The other guy, because I was hanging out with two artists, right? Two guys, and then her. So then the other artist, he told me like, oh yeah, we're waiting for her. We're waiting for her tia, for her aunt. And I was like, kind of like, they were just kind of like gave me a heads up, right? And I was like, oh, that's great, but you guys enjoy it. I'm about to leave. I already had made up my mind that I was gonna leave for the same situation, for the same reason, because I was not fitting in with the vibe. And it's fine. Like honestly, it's fine. Like I don't. Why would I want to be there if that's not what I'm gonna? That's not my get down. If they want to get their hoe on, hey, get your hoe on. Eso no es me. That's not my place to be at. And I respect that. And I think one of the reasons as well why I decided to talk about this is because maybe like before I did all the internal work and all of the healing and all of that stuff, this may have rubbed me in a different way. It may have even made me feel like I'm not good enough. You know what I mean? That I'm not good enough to hang out with. But in reality, what they're looking for is that type of female that's just gonna give them some fun, right? So when I realized that, it came to my mind, like, if anything, this is a good problem to have. This is a good problem to have. A good problem. The problem that the hosts don't want to hang out with me. So that's a great problem to have. I don't, like at the end of the day, I don't really want that, like that's not my get down anyway. I don't judge, I would still like I said, like I was hanging out with them, and she's fun, so I can't take that away from her. But overall, the scenario was the situation was geared towards a different vibe. It was a hookup kind of vibe. So, los dejé said. I came back downstairs. I did my thing. I was, doing what I do with my kids, washing dishes and things like that, doing laundry. And that's what I did. And this also reminded me of a previous time, like years ago. I was hanging out with this guy that passed away. We were hanging out, and I was dating him. I was dating him. We were getting to know each other. So we ended up going to one of his friends' house, right? And mind you, I know all these people because we all worked at the call center, okay? So we went over to to that guy's house. We were hanging out, and then that guy that we went to his house to, the guy's house, um, he came in with two chicks, right? And the same kind of vibe, right? Like they were there to have fun. I guess we can say it like that, right? They were there to have fun, to hook up and do their thing. Now, one of the girls, well, actually, no, I'm sorry. Let's keep going like that. Okay, yeah. So those two girls were there. Now, another girl showed up, but this girl came with the intentions of like, I guess, hook up as well, but she didn't know those girls were there. So when she got there, her face changed. It was like somebody had just dropped like a bucket of cold water on her. Como que no le gustó para nada. And then me and the guy that we were dating, that I was dating, the guy that I was dating, he was like, me dijo like, le dije, oh look, like she's acting funny, because I told, like I mentioned to you guys, like I know her, from the call centers. And then he told me, he's like, you know what, like 'cause he was older than me, okay, and he said, that's what happens with kind of like with those kind of girls, like they have like a competition to see who's the most hoey, you know, and that shit cracked me up. He's like, they're like in competition with each other. And I mean, everybody's in competition at the end of the day. I guess you can say it like that. I mean, if if you're trying to mate, is what I'm trying to say. But the way that she went about it was very like, she was very like mad almost. Like her face changed like into a mad, like mad, into a mad expression. So, so I just thought like, I just kept thinking to myself like, wow, like I did not know that that's how they work. Like, that they get like, I guess, territorial even with the guys that are not even theirs, kind of thing. And I mean, maybe it was just me being super innocent, but it reminds me also like, I remember one time I saw, like a long time ago, it was like the the adult industry, um like they were doing like, kind of like the Grammys, but for the adult industry, like films, porn. So people were getting like, who did the best BJ and things like that. And there was, I just found it funny. Like, honestly, I just find it funny that there's competition when it comes to that. Like, oh, I give the best BJs. No, bitch, I do. Like, that to me is just, it's just hilarious. And I don't know exactly what to think, or to really say, or how can I really like, how can I really elaborate on that? But it just surprised me that they're that they're that I guess, I don't know, like hypnotized by sex, that they build their whole personality, their whole persona, their identity, their ego is all based on this, on their sexuality. And in a way, it's like a cage. It's a cage, it's a box that they put themselves in, right? It's almost like they put themselves in a trance. And it's just like, okay, these girls, they're so good at BJs. Why aren't they good at taking care of their kids or other things? You know what I mean? It's just, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody has the right to live life the way they want to live it. It's not up to us, or to really like say what they have to do or what they should do. But at the end of the day, in general terms, we all know that that kind of lifestyle doesn't really take you anywhere beneficial, right? Anywhere good. Maybe they feel like it's beneficial, like money wise, I'm thinking. But at the end of the day, they lose their soul. They lose their soul. So it's really not worth it to the way I see it. And I have seen a lot of cases like YouTube people that like, oh, I used to be in the sex adult industry and now I'm a Christian and blah 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 and I repent and things like that, right? So a lot of girls, they do that, right? They go through that and then they repent. But how much repent is it really? If you already knew that that was the bad, like I don't know, like I don't know how to explain this too well, but I don't even know exactly what I'm trying to get at when I try to study these women. I guess it's just for the sake of conversation, of course, it's a podcast. But it just really it cracked me up. It baffled me. It cracked me up that these girls really, their identity is really based on that. Everything, their trophies, their success is based on sexual things. And they're not the only girls. The whole world is filled with these with women like that. I mean, look at La Cahuila. Look at the anywhere where there's prostitution. Or things like that. And like I mentioned on my other podcast, I mean, I guess there's these type of girls that guys play with, just like there's guys that girls play with. There are people that we're not gonna take too serious, and maybe for the guys as well. They're not gonna take those girls too serious either. But for myself, I just thought it was like, I kind of saw it like a triumph when I didn't fit in with when the situation that I first told you guys when I was upstairs with them. At the beginning, I was a little like, like a little, I guess, disappointed a little bit because we were hanging out, we went out, we were having fun, and then we get here and it's like, okay, but not you. You know what I mean? But again, it's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. That means that they understand what I'm about. I'm about that righteous shit. So if anything, at the end of the day, that's just a plus for me. You know, a lot of these girls, but mind you that the girls still respect. She still showed respect, and so there's nothing more, anything more bad or anything bad besides that I can really say about her or anything like that because again, she's fun, she in everything. Another thing that happened when we were upstairs, okay, they were hanging out. The girl likes to do coke. They're all coked up or whatever. I was talking to one of the guys, one of the artists, and then I was like, they swear that they don't do coke, right? But it's like if you're hanging out with all these people that do coke, you most likely are doing coke too. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes uh, when people tell, we have to really be, we cannot be naive, is what I'm trying to say here. We cannot be naive because maybe you know this could pertain to somebody else, and maybe it's a cousin, it's a friend, it's somebody that's close to them. And if you see that they're hanging out with these type of people, it's best that we check in and we check up on them. Because if your cousin, for example, if he's hanging out with a lot of cokeheads, most likely he's a cokehead too. And if you see that he's going downhill, it's probably best that you check in and we check in with the people that we love and we ask if everything is good. Not to judge or anything. It's just as a matter of it's just a matter of brotherhood, sisterhood, of checking in with each other, making sure that everything is okay. It's not about, oh, you shouldn't do that. It's more like, hey, you're good. Is everything good? Like, I see you hanging out with those coke heads. Like, are you doing coke? I mean, you don't have to really tell me, but is everything good? What's going on? Like, is there anything that I can help you with? And I think that's really what it comes down to, right? Even those girls that do the porn and everything is like, there's something going on in their heads that's not right. That's not healthy. That's not clicking correctly. And it's not to judge, but it's just a very 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 interesting thing to see, to watch these girls get their hoe on. you know um But other than that, everybody's our brother, everybody's our sister. Nobody's here to act the way we will want them to act. They are going to act the way they're going to act because it's their path. They're going to do the things that they want to do because it's their path. We cannot sit here and talk shit about them or bring them down or talk down about them just because they're not living the same way that we are living or in the way that we deem correctly. You know, at the end of the day, everybody has the right to live life the way they want to live it. If we don't agree, we just need to stay away, and that's it. That's pretty much what it comes down to. That's maturity, that's responsibility. You know, if you don't like how somebody is acting, you just stay away. You don't have to go talk about them, waste your energy, waste your time, act like you're higher than them and they're lower than you, and all of this stuff, right? It's not necessary. Everybody's on their own path. We don't need to speak about. I mean, in those terms, right? Unless we're learning from them. We can definitely talk about people and learn and talk in this for the sake of learning, of education, right? But we're just talking like, oh yeah, yeah, they're horrible. He's horrible. She's horrible. And she did this and she did that and la 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 la. Yeah, she did and she did that because it's her life. It's his life. They decided to do what they wanted to do. So what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? It's not so much about what they're doing. It's more about what you're gonna do. Focusing on them is it's really a waste of time in reality because focusing on them, how does that help us? How is that gonna help the situation? How is talking bad about them gonna help the situation? Yeah, you vent. Yeah, you feel I guess a little better, but it's not really like you're not really getting anything done. You're just talking. You're just talking. And some people like to talk in order for themselves to feel better, to feel greater than the other person, right? I mean, because in reality, there's no reason to talk about people. There really isn't. Like, what is the reason? Like, really think about it. Let's say somebody fucked me over. What would be the reason for me to talk about that person? Oh, that fool fucked me over. Okay, cool, he did. And what? And now what? Okay, I'm just gonna keep repeating the same sentence, which I have friends that do. They tell me the same damn story over and over again. They know that it's a mistake. They even repeat the same mistakes over and over again. You know, and it's like it's about you. It's about what you're gonna do. It's not about the other person. Yeah, you can reflect. Oh, man, damn, that person did this. I should have caught on earlier. Why did I ignore the red flags or whatever, right? That's what we could do. That's how we can talk about people, right? In order for us to learn and get better. But if we're just gonna be spewing things and just not blah blah, just negativity, for what? For what? How is that gonna help you? You're just gonna oh, it makes me feel better. It makes you feel better to talk shit. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I know sometimes we're frustrated and we gotta let it out. But after you let it out, you have to make the proper changes so it doesn't happen again. Because if you're just gonna allow it to happen again, and then you're gonna talk shit again, and then you're gonna let it happen again, and then you're gonna talk shit again, and it's like, okay, so what are you doing? What are we doing here, right? Are you gonna fix it, or you just want to live like this? And if it's okay, if you want to live like this, that's fine. That's your decision. But don't act like a victim. Don't act like, oh, that person did this to me. No, you did it to yourself by not studying the situation correctly and then making the proper adjustments so that situation doesn't happen again. That's pretty much all there is to it. That's how we learn and grow. We make a mistake, we study it, we make the changes so it doesn't happen again. And it's not guaranteed that it won't happen again because it could happen maybe in a different, maybe situation happen in a little bit of a different way. But in reality, we have to make the changes. We just have to. We have to make the changes. Thank you so much for tuning in to TC the G Radio. I hope you enjoyed this episode. What are your thoughts on Get Your Hoe On? Let me know. Comment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay in the loop. Remember to tune in to TC the G Radio Wednesdays at 11 p.m. Tijuana time. Also, connect with me on social media to get more of me and my music. My social media and contact information are on the video's description. Again, thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in and for allowing me to share this time with you. Take care. Saludos.